Greetings and great day, beautiful people. Dr. Dominique here, owner of Reese Financial Services, president of Reese Financial Services, where I'm the chief financial coach and strategist. And today I'm sharing a message about leadership. This one's real today. Leadership is tiring, and there's a lot of times when you get weak, you get weary, and you just don't want to be bothered. And that's how I'm feeling today. As leaders, we not only lead, as leaders, we lead in several spaces and places. We lead ourselves, households, community, and maybe some national something. So you have a platform, no matter how big or small. Leadership can be exhausting. And for a second, I just want to talk to my mothers. If you're a mother, you are a leader. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to encourage you because that level of leadership impacts the world. How you lead your seeds impacts the world because what you do with them, what you put in them, how you train them will rock with them for the rest of their life. And as they're out navigating in the world, people begin to engage. And it's your training that will come up. It's your training that will come out. And it is a thankless job, let me tell you. It is a thankless job. And mothers, we go through it. And that level of leadership can be so exhausting. And it could be a silent suffering too. And I know that because sometimes you're just doing it by yourself and you don't have anyone else. So I get it. I get it. But God is with you, and when you get weak and weary, you anchor yourself in His Word. And when you do that, you will be comforted. And honestly, that applies to all leaders. But I wanted to take time to just say thank you to mothers because we don't hear that enough. So, to all the mothers, thank you. Thank you for the work you do because it's the work you do behind the scenes, behind the closed doors, that the world gets to then judge and criticize. And that's something that leaders go through. So now shifting from mothers to all other leaders, right? You may be a leader in your household. You may be the caretaker, the breadwinner, the problem solver, the wealth builder. You may be a leader in your profession. You may, directors, presidents, executive directors, managers in a supervisor role, in management, a vice president, a senior, and you too are expected to lead and navigate people through. But that also exposes you. That also brings great criticism when things go well or things go awry. And it can be exhausting. It could be frustrating. Leadership is quite lonely. And I encourage you to anchor yourself to the word. And then lastly, I want to talk to those leaders who are just, you're in the nonprofit space, or maybe You're leading an organization in a community based organization. Um, or maybe you're not even a part of a formal organization, but you're the go to for your community. You look out for people. And this could be in your family, this could be in an actual, smaller community, but you're the go to. And when you're the go to, guess what? You're getting pulled on a whole lot. People are taking from you all the time because you're the go to. So you get depleted quite often. And again, this is across the board for all levels of leadership. You get depleted, and when you're tired and when you're weak and when you're weary, you want to give up. You want to give up. So I just wanted to read something because it was very encouraging to me, and I think it's a great way to anchor when you're weak and weary. This is coming from Devotion, which is coming from U Version Bible app. So if you don't have it, you may want to check it out. It's a great tool. But it says, while we may not be Israelites walking through the wilderness, we still follow and walk with the same God who walked with them. And if we're being honest, our spiritual lives can be, wait, and if we're being honest, our spiritual lives can sometimes feel like walking through a dry desert. Some seasons of life are exhausting and difficult to persevere through. And sometimes you just don't want to hear the message of, you're strong, you'll make it, right? Yeah, I know all of that. But give me something that I can anchor myself in. But in the midst of those seasons, God continues to refresh and satisfy his people. And that was the promise that I heard, that even though I've got work to do and I don't feel like it, as a leader, I have to show up. And when you have to show up, you don't want to do it reluctantly or begrudgingly. It just feels worse. So, anchoring myself in the word, which is unchanging, is very comforting. And so I want to share that encouragement because someone needs to hear it today. But in the midst of those seasons, God continues to refresh and satisfy his people. He continues to uphold us when we are tired. He does these things for us because his character never changes. I'm going through a season where I feel like maybe people's character is not changing, but our relationship is changing. And I am very disappointed in some people. And that can be disappointing, but it can weigh on you, right? It can pull from you because disappointment doesn't feel good. It takes from you, right? He is the same God who continually refreshes his people. So if you currently feel tired and exhausted, take a moment today to sit with God in prayer. And what is prayer? It's just talking to him. Tell him exactly how you feel. What is going on in your life? Ask him to refresh your soul and satisfy you if you feel weary and weak. Allow him to refresh you and give you rest. And continue to build a habit of talking with God each and every day. That did it for me. It totally shifted my energy because I got things to do. And I want to get to the things that I have to do. But when you don't have the energy as a leader, you just need a break sometimes. And so, in my three things that I focused on yesterday, one of them was a nap. And guess what? It was the only thing that I got done yesterday. And I got it done. And I needed that rest. So, leaders, don't subscribe to the hustle and the grind. That's culture. That's not kingdom, first of all. Second of all, why? There should be urgency to our work, but we shouldn't burn ourselves out. We shouldn't work ourselves down to where we have nothing left. And when you do, Because everything in divine order, we do. When you do, anchor yourself in His Word so that you get the refreshing, the replenishment that you need, that your soul needs. That's soul work. Leadership pulls on soul work. And when you are feeling depleted, weak, and weary, and no person can give it to you, right? No person can give you that fix, can restore you. You got to turn to Him. But He wants us to turn to Him first anyway, so we can stay anchored in something that doesn't change. Because people change. And maybe your person ain't available when you call, or maybe your person can't come through when you call. So then what? Then you feel a way about that too, because people aren't showing up for you. So instead, anchor yourself to the word instead of people, because the word doesn't change and it's something that you can count on. That's why you anchor in it. It keeps you, right? You're locked in. You're not drifting. So you got to be anchored today. Stay anchored today. Be encouraged through His word that you will be replenished and you will be restored. And this is also a wealth building principle because we are meant to be in relationship. So it's good to call on people. But when we think about capital and the five capitals that make up wealth, spiritual capital is one of them. Human capital is one of them. So it's human capital, intellectual capital, social capital, spiritual capital, financial capital. So your human capital, your spiritual capital are the ones that tend to really come out right now. Because as a leader, you're leading other people, right? And you're leading ideally with love and compassion and patience and all those things. And sometimes with frustration too. Let's be real. And then your spiritual capital, because you really got to stay anchored for the moments where you get weary and weak, because people pull on your energy and we're only human. So I just want to remind my leaders from one leader to another, you're leading your households, you're leading your family, you're leading yourself, you're leading your community, you're leading your work, your career, your department, your business unit, your team, you're leading the national platforms as well. We are doing a lot, and to whom much is given, much is expected. So that's not a complaint. And we have to manage, right? We have to manage. So this is one way to manage and stay encouraged as you stay in the game. Have a great day today. Remember to anchor yourself in the never changing word of God so that you get what you need and you have a blessed and better day. All right. Peace.